You, sir, do you have a moment to talk about our Lord and Savior, Ultra Hit? Which is what I would have called Hit had they not been afraid. Yes, I think Dragon Ball Legends was afraid of Hits and making him too OP in a way that they couldn't really fix unless they just debuffed him, which is something they definitely do not want to do, because you don't drop a character, have people spend money, and then say, all right, now that you all spent money, we're gonna make him worse. Yeah, that doesn't really end well. I think you can see why people wouldn't want to pay money and then be told, hey, we're gonna make the thing you paid money for worse now. So yeah, we're gonna be doing a different kind of showcase, I suppose, today for Hit. I want to try kind of different forms of showcases. There's gonna be gameplay here. It's gonna just be from my live streams. That if you want to see the gameplay live, you can come over to my Twitch. I do live stream almost every day. But there's gonna be gameplay going on. But I'm just gonna kind of be talking about Hit, not necessarily about the gameplay specifically. I don't know. I just wanted to try different kind of methods of showcases where like it's about the unit, you see gameplay of it, and I talk about it, but it's not necessarily the normal formula that like every showcase kind of is. The ones I've done before, that a lot of people do. I don't know. Just want to try some new things, see how it goes. So if you like it, leave a like. Let me know in the comments if you like it. If you think there's any way I could improve or whatnot, always feel free to let me know in the comments. I love constructive criticism. But yeah, let's get into Hit here. I have Ultra Hit 10 stars. As you can see, I'm actually a big fan of Hit. I truly enjoy using this Hit. He's actually probably one of the units I've had the most fun with in quite some time, because he's not just like Beast Han or even Gogeta Blue, where it's like, oh, Ooga Booga, he just literally does everything for you. Cover changes everything, has just blast armor on everything, just takes away the opponent's ability to do anything, just does a bajillion damage on every hit. That's kind of what Beast Han and Gogeta Blue are, which is why they're like considered by most people number 1 and number 2 top units in the game. But Hit's got a little more of a skill factor to him that makes him more enjoyable in my eyes. And if you're wondering where I'd rank Hit, I'd probably put Hit top 5, either 4 or 5. Him and Blue Zamasu are kind of both right there in my opinion. Blue Zamasu is very good at what he does, defensively, just eating damage and all that good stuff. Zamasu is definitely a phenomenal unit. So I'd say him and Hit are kind of around that 4 or 5 spot for me. Could go either way, depending on how you look at it. But when we were getting Ultra Hit, and I think this is one of the reasons you've seen so much negativity about him, is 1, he's the first non-Saiyan summonable Ultra, but 2, when we got that reveals and stuff, when we were sitting there and saw him literally freeze time, the opponent is unable to dodge, unable to move, unable to defend themselves in any way, we were like, this is gonna be busted. This is insane. I know I was freaking out during the reaction and the reveals and stuff, and then when we actually get him, he's just not quite as good as we thought he was going to be, and that's led to some of the disappointment that people have put out there and kind of given him a more negative opinion than I think he deserves. I think Hit not being necessarily the best unit in the game is a good thing, because the whole idea of us getting a new unit and then the next unit we get is just better, and then better, and then better, and then better, so on, gets tiring, because people are going to be like, oh, well, I got to spend. This unit is like a must-have or else I can't compete and stuff like that, and then you get worn out of spending money. Or if you're free to play, you only have like a couple thousand crystals for all these banners, unless you're dedicated and just skip through, even if the unit's insane. It can just get tiring on people. So I think in that aspect, it's good that Hit isn't number 1 undoubted, undisputed champion of the world in Legends, but I think they could have made him just slightly better, and the reason they didn't is because they were scared. I think the Legends devs were scared of accidentally making Hit too good to the point where they'd feel like... So let me say it this way. The other unit I think Legends were scared with when they made... Well, I guess this isn't when they made the unit, but the last time that I can genuinely remember Legends being afraid, or at least I felt they were afraid of making someone too good, was VB's Zenkai here. And I say that because when you look at VB's Zenkai abilities, the new uniques they gave him for his Zenkai, you got Sapphire Protector of the Future. Diabolical name. This name is sick. But what does it do? Oh, when 2 allies are defeated, so your last man standing with VB, you get to restore your health by 15%, and you reduce damage received by 10%. That's it. That's all it does. That's like the most nothing unique of all time. And then his other unique, oh, look at that. It's another like 2 lines of actual text that do something for him. And when he avoids a vanishing step, you get -2 to strike arts cost for 5 timer counts. and plus 20% to strike damage for 5 timer counts. Nothing crazy. These are 2 of the most absolutely nothing uniques. I'm sure if you've been playing Legends, you know how upset everyone was with VB. I mean, genuinely, just look at, like, let's see, where's it? Let's look at Super Vegito. Another LF, they got a Zenkai. This unique, already, you can see he's got more things. Applies the following effects to self when this character just enters the battlefield, so no very specific niche things like VB has. Just every time he enters the battlefield, you'll get 30 ki, randomly draw a new card, and increase your arts card draw speed. Those are all much better than anything VB got, like his 2 uniques combined, that's better than that. And then this here, when the battle starts, you get 30% damage inflicted, and reduced damage received by 15%, and -3 to arts cost. He already got more damage reduced, and then more damage inflicted, just from the battle starting. Not him becoming a last man standing, just the battle beginning. He's already gotten better than VB. Like, they gave VB the most nothing thing stats because they were afraid that VB was going to just become an unstoppable monster again like he was during the 2nd anniversary. And they had to change the game because of VB and Kefla and their long combos during 2nd anniversary. Like, VB's kit genuinely led to change in Legends because if you messed up your cover change or something, you only had 1 at the time. You could not change units. You couldn't change multiple units, or even if you got timer counts low enough, still during their combo, swap in units again. You got 1 change. You messed it up, the unit who was in until that combo ended. So if they died, they died. VB was diabolical. That made VB so much better, obviously. And so they had to change that. And with Hit, if they were to make Hit too good, his time skip, they accidentally mess up and make it too good, the only real plan of action, I think, would be to then change the time skip, which would be then making him worse after people have paid money for him, which doesn't really end well. So I think you can kind of see it in terms of when you look at his time skip, they've given you so much time to kind of stop it, which I do think it's good. There's a window to stop his time skip. If it was just like he pressed the green card and instantaneously the time skip began, like there was no counterplay to it, that would be too OP. You would just literally be you'd just be dead. Like, unless it's like blue Zamasu against him, because then it's a blue versus a red, and he doesn't have type nullification, because that's another issue with him. But if you didn't have like that, you had like anyone else in, they're probably just dead. Straight up. So it is a good thing that there is a window to counter him, to stop his time skip, but I think they've made it too long. And an example of this is, I saw Billy tweeted over on Twitter that when he swapped Hidden, he cover changed Hidden, it knocked the opponent back to long range. Billy then clicked a green card to activate the time skip because his gauge was full. The opponent was able to fly back, go through the animation of, you flying backwards and then resetting into battle position, and then threw a tap blast and stopped the time skip. That's kind of ridiculous. Now, that's kind of being too long of a window to stop the time skip, and it really hinders Hit. Like, if his time skip window, how much time you have to counter Hit's time skip genuinely changes how good Hit is astronomically. Just that, not even like all the other stats or whatnot. Just changing that is truly a game changer in terms of Hit's kits. And so I think if they were to make it a little shorter, it would do Hit a lot more justice and would make him better but not too good. Like, just shorten it a couple milliseconds so things like, as I just explained, the cover change tap blast thing don't end up stopping it. I think that could be a big change for Hit and make him kind of more what people thought he would be, but still not make him an unstoppable god-like machine, Because when you look at Hit's kit, it's really all about the time skip. If Hit doesn't get the time skip, he's not particularly an insane unit. One example is I mentioned in a tweet when, responding to Billy talking about the cover change and the Hit and the tap blast. Billy responded with, yeah, which sucks because this whole thing is the time skip. It is. Hit truly is the time skip. Outside of the time skip, he does feel like an older unit. He's got a modern stat, with a modern stat spread. He's got no cover null unless green. He has no blast armor and no real way to disrupt, which is spot on. That is truly a spot on assessment there. Because, yes, Gogeta Blue only has cover change null on green, but he's also got blast armor, and that green not only cover change, nullifies, he also has cover change nullification on when you fill his gauge up. But the green, cover change nullification, and type neutrality. Alongside, he's got blast armor. So you can fly through blast attacks, hit you with your strike, press the green, continue the combo. You can't do anything about it. He's gone type neutral, and is a whole lot of more dangerous of unit. Hit only has blast armor on blue and his ult, I believe. So that's not really as good. Strike blast armor is pretty insane ability. I know that's why we've all been complaining that range units aren't really good, because everyone has blast armor on strikes. So you do a blast attack with your range unit, nope, now you're getting comboed because they just flew right through it. Yes, they took damage, but they flew right through it and are just obliterating you. So if Hit had that, it would be a whole greater asset to him being a better unit. But he doesn't, because it's all about the time skip. But then they've made the time skip so easy to counter that you genuinely could go a whole game without time skipping if your opponent's just paying attention and isn't sitting in the back of the map. Which I do have to say I like. The fact that you can counter Hit's time skip when your opponent sees Hit's gauge is full, it kind of forces them to go on the offensive. Because if they just sit back and play how so many people do, where they just want to perfect vanish you, they're just floating at the back of the map, not doing anything, waiting for you to do something to try and PV you. If you time skip them, you'll probably catch them, because they're not being aggressive to counter your time skip, and then they're just screwed. If you get the time skip off, Hit absolutely can do work. Especially you want to use the ultimate, because ultimate does so much damage during the time skip that not using it would just be not great. But the fact that they made his time skip so easy to counter, and then it resets the gauge to 0, so you have to wait for that thing to go all the way back up. If it just reset, like, if it just didn't unfill the gauge after you tried to do it and they countered you, then it would be okay that they have such a large window to counter you. But because it doesn't do that, they should shorten the window just a little bit. Just a little bit, because honestly, the rest of Hit's kit is just, again, nothing too insane. He doesn't even have type neutrality. He's just got extra damage inflicted to blue units, up to 60%, which is just like a lesser version of type neutrality. It's just not as good. It's just not as good. That shouldn't be what he got. Genuinely, that shouldn't be what he got. That's just such a worse version of it. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on Hit. Where would you rank Hit? Love hearing what your guys' thoughts are on units. I really enjoy Hit, and I hope I can use him for a while before he just, you know, I know so many people are like, this is going to be the worst aging Ultra. He's going to fall off a cliff instantly as soon as he loses boost, which I hope isn't the case, but it definitely could be. It definitely could be, and that would be sad, because Hit is truly a fun unit, and I have a lot of fun using him. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Hits, kind of my thoughts on why they made Hit the way they made Hit. And if you have anything to add, feel free to leave it in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. If you want to see live streams, which a lot of this Hit footage is from, feel free to go follow me over on Twitch. There's always a link in the pinned comment on every video, and I think I have a link in my description as well. So, we'd love to see you guys from live streams, but I hope y'all are staying happy and healthy, having the best of days, and I'll catch y'all tomorrow.